Have you checked your gun safe lately and wondered if something inside might be worth a lot more than you think? The truth is, some of the most ordinary pistols of the last few decades are quietly becoming gold mines. Not years from now, but right now. In today's video, we've revealed 20 pistols that are climbing in value fast, and one of them might already be in your hands. Number 20, Radom VIS 35. The Radom VIS 35 doesn't show up often, and when it does, collectors pounce. Designed in Poland before World War II, and later co-opted by Nazi forces during occupation, the VIS 35 blends Browning-style mechanics with old-world machining. Chambered in 9mm with a single-action trigger and solid steel construction, it became a prized officer's sidearm, known for reliability and balance. German-marked models with Waffenamt stamps bring the highest premiums, especially with matching serials and holsters. For years, those floated around surplus markets. Now, a clean pre-war or early occupation example can run $1,400 to $2,200, and pristine, all-original rigs are climbing past $3,000. The days of affordable Radoms are long gone, and the next pistol proves that even rarer Cold War designs are following close behind. Number 19, Lahti L-35. The Finnish Lahti L-35 is one of the most underrated Cold War sidearms climbing in value right now. Designed by Amo Lahti and issued during the Winter War, it was built to survive brutal Arctic conditions, and it shows. The L-35 is chambered in 9mm and features a unique recoil buffer and built-in bolt accelerator, giving it excellent cycling reliability in freezing temperatures. While its design draws comparisons to the Luger, the Lahti is heavier, tougher, and far scarcer. Only about 9,000 were ever made for military use. Today, clean examples with matching numbers and original leather holsters consistently cross the $1,200 mark, and Finnish-marked variants are especially prized. This is one of those pistols that rarely surfaces in the wild, and when it does, it doesn't sit long. Number 18, Nambu Type 14. At first glance, the Nambu Type 14 might look odd, but its place in history makes it a rising star among World War II collectors. Issued as the standard sidearm of the Imperial Japanese Army, it was chambered in 8mm Nambu and featured a striker-fire design with a fixed barrel and unique internal mechanics. Though often criticized for its weak cartridge, the pistol itself was well machined and full of era-specific quirks. Values used to hover low due to ammo scarcity and surplus stigma. Not anymore. Clean matching examples, especially late-war models with late trigger guards or Tokyo Arsenal marks, have surged past $1,000 with presentation rigs fetching far more. With global interest growing and remaining stocks drying up, the Type 14 is no longer a bargain bin footnote. It's a rising relic. Number 17, Dornaus and Dixon Bren 10. The Bren 10 might be the most legendary failure in pistol history, and that's exactly why collectors want it. Designed in the early 1980s as the first production 10mm pistol, it was powerful, futuristic, and famously endorsed by Sonny Crockett on Miami Vice. But behind the scenes, Dornaus and Dixon ran into manufacturing delays, parts shortages, and bankruptcy before most customers ever got their guns. Today, surviving Bren 10s are incredibly rare. Even fewer have matching magazines, which were harder to find than the gun itself. Most are early production variants in stainless steel, and even incomplete examples are pulling $3,000 to $5,000 at auction. Fully functional boxed units, those can easily break 5 figures. It was a commercial flop that turned into a collector's dream. Number 16, Steyr GB. The Steyr GB was supposed to be the next great military sidearm, and even though it lost the contract race, collectors are starting to pay close attention. Developed in the 1980s by Austria's Steyr Puch, the GB featured a gas-delayed blowback system, 18-round magazine, and exceptional accuracy. It was ahead of its time, but commercial success never followed. Only around 15,000 units made it to the U.S., and most spent years languishing in gun shop cases. That's changed, and interest in unique Cold War designs grows. The GB's values are rising fast. Clean examples now sit around $1,200, and boxed or police surplus versions are approaching $1,600 or more. Its sci-fi appearance, innovative mechanics, and low production numbers make the GB a sleeper pick, but not for long. Number 15. Heckler Koch P9S. The Heckler Koch P9S looks strange, shoots smooth, and has quietly become one of the most sought-after oddball pistols on the collector market. Introduced in the 1970s, the P9S used a roller-delayed blowback system borrowed from HK's rifle line, giving it low recoil and surprising accuracy. Available in 9mm and 45 ACP, it came in both double-action and single-action variants, and every one of them was built like a precision tool. Production was limited. Parts are scarce and demand is growing fast. A few years ago, you could snag one for $700. Today, clean examples start around $1,300, with boxed or military contract models pushing beyond $1,800. It's not flashy, it's not common, and that's exactly what makes the P9S so dangerous to ignore. Number 14. Colt M45A1. The Colt M45A1 is a modern 1911 with old-school roots and a military pedigree that's driving serious collector heat. Originally built for the U.S. Marine Corps, this pistol features a rail frame, desert tan, Cerakote finish, dual recoil spring system, and Novak night sights. It's chambered in 45 ACP, but what really gives it value is the roll mark. Those with USMC on the side are especially prized. Production was limited, and Colt quietly phased out the model for civilian sales. Since then, prices have crept steadily upward. Even standard commercial examples now go for $1,500 and up, while genuine military-issued M45A1s, when they hit the market, can spike to over $3,000. Number 13. Colt Gold Cup National Match. If there's one pistol that defined competitive shooting for generations, it's the Colt Gold Cup. Built for precision right out of the box, the Gold Cup National Match Series took the 1911 platform and refined it for serious target shooters. Features like an adjustable trigger, wide target sights, and hand-fitted slides make it a favorite on the range and in bullseye circles. But not all Gold Cups are created equal. Early pre-70 series models, boxed examples, or pistols with rare finishes like hand chrome or factory nickel are now commanding strong premiums. Average values sit between $1,200 and $1,800, but rare trims and minty examples are heading north of $2,000. The collector market has caught on, and these aren't sitting on shelves anymore. Number 12. Colt Delta Elite 10mm. The Colt Delta Elite was the first mainstream 10mm 1911 and is finally getting the attention it deserves. Introduced in the late 1980s, it was Colt's answer to rising interest in high-powered semi-auto pistols. Chambered in 10mm auto, it packed serious punch, and while it was ahead of its time, sales were lukewarm due to recoil, ammo cost, and limited civilian demand. That's no longer the case, with 10mm experiencing a resurgence among hunters and defensive shooters. Early Delta Elites, especially those with the original wraparound grips and stainless finish, are now pulling $1,300 to $1,700. Collector interest is growing fast, and any first-gen examples with box and papers are climbing even higher. This one's moving, and fast. Number 11. Colt 1903 Pocket Hammerless. The Colt 1903 Pocket Hammerless might be over a century old, but it's aging like fine wine. Designed by John Browning and chambered in 32 ACP or 380 ACP, this sleek little pistol became a favorite of generals, diplomats, and even gangsters. It was compact, reliable, and stylish, everything a pocket pistol needed to be in the early 20th century. Production ran from 1903 to 1945, and values used to be modest. Until recently, collectors are now chasing high-condition examples, especially early Type 1 models, U.S. military contract variants, and boxed guns with original grips. Prices have steadily climbed past $1,000, with pristine pieces selling for $1,500 or more. It's not just a pocket pistol, it's American firearms history, and demand is surging. Number 10, Smith & Wesson 1076. Built for the FBI, discontinued before its time. The Smith & Wesson 1076 is a true millimeter collector sleeper, born out of the Bureau's brief flirtation with the 10mm auto in the early 90s. The 1076 was a stainless steel DASA powerhouse with a 4.25-inch barrel and no manual safety. It was part of S&W's third-gen series, overbuilt, underappreciated, and built like a vault. The FBI canceled its contract early, and only a limited number of these guns ever made it into circulation. Today, documented FBI-issued models are highly sought after, with clean examples bringing $1,300 to $1,800. Standard civilian variants aren't far behind. Once overlooked in favor of flashier pistols, the 1076 is now climbing fast, and supply isn't getting any better. Number 9, Smith & Wesson 5906. The Smith & Wesson 5906 was once everywhere, and now it's disappearing fast. This third-generation semi-auto was a staple of American law enforcement in the 90s. Stainless steel frame, double-stacked 15-round magazine, and a DASA trigger that officers either loved or hated. But one thing everyone agreed on, it was built like a tank. For years, police trade-ins flooded the market for under $400. But now those days are gone. Collectors and shooters alike are chasing clean examples, especially early production models with squared trigger guards or Novak sights. Prices now range from $700 to $1,000, depending on condition, with boxed or unfired specimens climbing even higher. What used to be duty-grade and disposable is now vintage and valuable. Number 8, SIG Sauer P228 M11. Compact, battle-proven, and German-made. The SIG P228, also known as the M11 in military use, is no longer a sleeper. Introduced in the late 1980s, this double-stacked 9mm became the go-to sidearm for U.S. military intelligence and federal agencies. With its alloy frame, smooth DASA action, and 13-round capacity, it packed full-size performance into a carry-friendly frame. Original, German-made P228s, especially those with early West German proof marks, are seeing a surge in demand. Military-issued M11 variants are also gaining traction with collectors. What used to sell for $600 now easily reaches $1,200 or more, depending on markings and condition. And with the supply of importable surplus drying up, the P228 is rapidly moving from duty gun to collector's prize. Number 7, SIG Sauer P226. The SIG Sauer P226 has always been a legend, but now early models are becoming investment pieces. Originally developed to compete for the U.S. military XM9 trials in the 1980s, the P226 didn't win the contract, but it won over elite units like the Navy SEALs. Chambered in 9mm with a full steel slide and alloy frame, it offered unmatched reliability and accuracy in its class. Collectors are zeroing in on West German marked frames, early roll marks, and special edition anniversary models. Prices have jumped from $700 to $1,400 in recent years, and rare military contract pistols command even more. Once a duty gun for serious professionals, the P226 is now a serious target for those watching value trends climb with every passing year. Number 6, Mauser Walther P38. Few pistols carry as much wartime weight as the P38. Adopted by Nazi Germany in 1938 as a replacement for the Luger, the Walther P38 and later Mauser-produced models became the sidearm of the Wehrmacht. Chambered in 9mm, it featured a revolutionary double-action trigger system and open slide design that influenced countless pistols to follow. Today, original World War II bringbacks with matching serial numbers, proper holsters, and Waffennacht markings are highly collectible. Mauser and Walther variants both carry premiums, especially those with documented provenance. Basic wartime examples start around $900, but high-condition matching rigs are now breaking $2,000. And the more time passes, the harder they are to find untouched. History like this doesn't stay affordable forever. Number 5. Walther P88. The Walther P88 was a technical marvel and a commercial misfire. Released in the late 1980s, it was Walther's flagship 9mm, featuring ambidextrous controls, superb machining, and a cold hammer-forged barrel that delivered competition-grade accuracy. But with high production costs and a stiff price tag, it failed to find a broad audience and was discontinued shortly after launch. That short production run is exactly why collectors are chasing them now. Clean P88s routinely fetch between $1,200 and $1,800, with special variants like the P88 Compact and P88 Champion pushing far beyond that. Demand is strongest for German-marked originals in box, especially with factory test targets. This pistol may have missed the spotlight in its day, but its value is catching up quickly. Number 4. Walther P5 Compact. Born from post-war West German police contracts, the Walther P5 is one of the most refined service pistols of its time and one of the most overlooked until recently. Chambered in 9mm, the P5 featured a left side ejection port, enclosed slide, and a modified P38 locking system. It was compact, reliable, and built with that signature German attention to detail. The standard model was already limited, but the P5 Compact even rarer. Collectors are now snapping up both variants, especially those with police markings, matching mags, and original boxes. Prices have jumped from under $800 to over $1,400 in just a few years. The P5 wasn't produced in large numbers, and that scarcity is finally catching up with demand. Number 3. Browning High Power, Belgium and rare variants. The Browning High Power is already a legend, but the real money is in the details. Designed by John Browning and perfected by FN, this double-stacked 9mm became the sidearm of over 50 nations. But today, collectors are laser-focused on Belgian-made originals, early tangent sight models, and rare trims like the Captain or hard chrome finishes. Production ceased in 2017, and prices have been climbing ever since. Surplus guns once sold for $500. Now, clean, all-original examples start around $1,400 and can reach over $2,500 depending on markings and condition. FN commercial models, especially with matching mags and boxes, are in high demand. If you're sitting on an old high power, don't blink. Its value could double before you know it. Number 2. SIG Sauer P210, Swiss or Classic. The SIG P210 isn't just accurate, it's surgical. Originally developed for the Swiss military, this single-stack 9mm is considered one of the finest service pistols ever made. With its full-length slide rails, match-grade barrel, and crisp single-action trigger, the P210 shoots like a tuned race gun right out of the box. Swiss-made models, especially pre-1980s examples, are the gold standard. Collectors pay premiums for military-marked P49s, especially commercial versions, or special runs like the P210-5 or 6. Prices for clean Swiss P210s now hover between $2,500 and $4,000, and boxed, mint examples go even higher. It's not just another old pistol, it's a masterpiece in steel, and its value rises every year. Number 1. Heckler Koch P7 M8. The H&K P7 isn't like anything else, and that's exactly why collectors are paying top dollar. With its unique squeeze cocking mechanism, gas-delayed blowback system, and ultra-slim profile, the P7 was decades ahead of its time. First issued in the late 1970s to German police, it quickly developed a cult following for its safety, speed, and precision. Production stopped in the early 2000s, and prices have been climbing ever since. A few years ago, P7 M8s could be had for under $1,200. Today, routinely break $2,500. German police trade-ins are drying up, and U.S. imported boxed models are going for even more. It's compact, over-engineered, and unlike anything ever made, which is exactly why the P7 now wears a 5-figure smile at top-tier auctions. Check out our next video where we reveal the 12 best one-and-done handguns of all time.